Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the internet's two favorite people have decided to try to get their names back in the headlines simply because they are starting to fade away with time. These women do not like to not be the center of attention. We did a video on Halle Bailey and what she just recently said during her interview, and now we have another video about Rachel Zegler. Yes, America's favorite sweetheart, Rachel Zegler, the one who probably dethroned Brie Larson for most hated woman on the internet, at least for right now anyway. Rachel Zegler has come out and tried to do the same exact thing that Halle Bailey did in her interview, where she's trying to say that, oh, everybody was just a hater. Everybody who comes out against me is just a hater, and that she's thankful that the words cannot hurt her. She's so much above everything that everybody says. Nothing gets to her anymore, and she's basically trying to pretend as if she's taking this high road when we all know that that is not the case. So let's get into this article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. It says Rachel Zegler says she's thankful for backlash against her Snow White casting and says that nothing can hurt anymore because they've said the worst that they've said. According to Snow White star Rachel Zegler, rather than despair at the widespread backlash of her casting as a race swap version of Disney's first canonical animated princess, the actress has learned to be thankful for the discussion as it's allowed her to supposedly grow a thicker skin. The controversial The Hunger Games: The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes actress weighed in on the discourse surrounding her upcoming role while speaking to fellow Disney actress Halle Bailey, who earlier this year portrayed Ariel in the live-action Little Mermaid for Variety's Actors on Actors interview series. Now, the funny thing is, let's be real, what is the chances that these two women were picked specifically for the fact that they got the most backlash for their roles in race-swapped characters, right? Halle Bailey was a race-swap Little Mermaid, and of course, Rachel Zegler is a race-swap Snow White. Both of them got completely destroyed online over it. One of them had a massive flop in the box office. The other is about to have another massive flop in the box office. I don't see how Snow White can do well. I just honestly don't. And there's a lot of people that think the same way as I do. I just can't see how this movie is going to do very good, considering all the troubles that it's going through right now, considering that they delayed it so many times and they delayed it again all the way to 2025. This movie is going to be hot garbage. And you know what? They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. Rachel Zegler is not going to take blame for anything that happens to this movie. She is still talking her nonsense, even though she has literally gotten in trouble over what she has said from the director himself. But no, we're going to still keep going with the same nonsense because people like Rachel Zegler cannot shut up. They cannot stop their nonsense. They have to make it all about themselves. They have to make sure that the narcissist in them is always satisfied. Now, the funny thing is, again, ladies and gentlemen, the chances of these two women being picked to host whatever this interview series is called, it's not by coincidence, okay? They wanted these two women because these two women can push the racism narrative. These two women can push the whole narrative surrounding both movies that, oh, it's only racist bigots that hate these movies. That's it. It's only racist bigots. Nobody else has any valid criticism about the movies at all. They're just racist. That's it. They can make it such a simple argument because that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to simplify it because that invalidates. It says, first broaching the topic following a discussion of Bailey's performance in the aforementioned remake, Zegler began the conversation by giving praise to her colleague for how there are always people who have something to say about our castings, but you prove them wrong and with grace. They didn't prove anything wrong. This woman did not prove anything wrong. Her movie flopped in the box office. She did not prove a single thing wrong. I don't know why. Again, I guess they're living in their own world, right? They're trying to make it seem as if nothing is phasing them. Everything is going in one ear and out the other. Meanwhile, you had to have an actor-on-actor interview to talk about something that supposedly doesn't phase you. You know what I mean? So obviously, it phases you to some degree, or at least it's in your mind to some degree that you had to make an entire video dedicated to talking about this nonsense in an actor-on-actor interview. It says, I was so inspired by the way you handled anybody who had anything bad to say about it, and I give you really so much credit, said the Shazam Fury of the Gods actress. You and I have always been been kind of defenders of each other online, I would be willing to fight a little because that's who I am as a person. To this end, Zegler asks, and yeah, there's always such chatter around it, did you ever let it affect you at all? You definitely didn't publicly, to which Bailey replied, I mean, we're sensitive. We're human beings. We're actors. Like, hello. I get my feelings hurt if my cat doesn't want to sit next to me, laughed Bailey. So of course, and I think that's what people don't realize when they're put in fortunate situations like us, where you're granted opportunities and able to be seen on massive screens. Like, it's amazing. But I think there's a sort of disassociation. People think that they can start taking you away from being a real human being that has feelings and react to things. Well, no, that's not the case at all. Nobody's trying to devalue you as a human being, right? Like, you're taking it to such an extreme because you feel like that's going to help invalidate the argument of people that are attacking you online. They have a valid reason for feeling the way that they feel. They have a valid reason for being totally over this nonsense. Just basically just be fed up with it completely. They have their reasons, and you cannot and should not invalidate those reasons just because it goes against your status quo. That's really what it's about. You found your way to fame. You found a company that was willing to finally hire you based off anything other than your performance. It's everything else other than that. You are literally just hired for your skin color, and you are hired for the fact that you could be a racial shield for companies and production studios like Disney. So they're putting you in these interview processes so that they can utilize their shield that they paid so much money for. It says, so yeah, that was definitely something that I've had to navigate, she continued, but it turned out to be a beautiful lesson to me to just block any naysayers or negativity out. And for me, I found that it helped. I used it to my advantage. Like when it came to doing the long press days or even taking it on my own personal music that I was writing, like I was using it as fuel to help me with my artistry. And you know, I think that's the only way I could get over it, as well as surrounding myself with people that love me. Turning the question to Zegler, Bailey then asserted, the same to you, the way you are so graceful and respond and don't. It's just the most beautiful thing to see. Because it's hard being women under the spotlight. Oh, here we go. Here we go with the woman victim narrative. This is interesting. People are so critical and just say anything that they would never say to your face. So yeah, how has that been for you to navigate it? Well, no, don't get it wrong. We will definitely say this to your face. 100%. We have no problems saying this to your face. The problem is that you don't show your face. Obviously, you are hiding in the Hollywood Hills. You're never going to show your face, and I don't expect you to. But don't get it twisted. There are plenty of people that will absolutely tell you everything that they're saying online to your face with no stuttering whatsoever. They will make sure that they get their message across. It says, in a reply, Zegler admitted choosing thankfulness and gratefulness is choosing peace. And as much as you'd like to remind people verbally that being in the spotlight doesn't absolve you of your humanity, that you're allowed to have human moments, it doesn't necessarily do what you want it to do, and it fuels them more. So it's just as you said, the actress added, it's choosing to be present and know that they're probably having a really hard day, and I'm putting out a movie, and I feel so thankful for those movies because it's starting to make me feel like Teflon, that nothing can hurt anymore because they've said the worst that they've said. And you just kind of say, thanks so much for this. So honestly, it just sounds like copium, ladies and gentlemen. This entire thing sounds like copium. This woman knows the backlash that she's getting. She knows she's not going to make any money whatsoever off of anything else other than what she's going to be used for, and that is identity politics shilling. So she's going to try to protect the old guard as much as possible. She's going to try to maintain her ability at Disney or at whatever company or studio that's going to utilize her simply for her skin color. But at the end of the day, Rachel Zegler is doing exactly what Halle Bailey is, and that's just causing up a storm so that people like myself and everybody else makes videos on them, and that way they can get their names back trending, because without us, they have nothing. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.